عن أمير المؤمنين أبي حفص عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله عنه قال: سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول: إنما الأعمال بالنيات وإنما لكل امرئ ما نوى.
Number 11, protecting knowledge from that which blemishes it from what opposes Muru'ah. Whoever does not... Muru'ah.
Yeah, the Hamza, no, the Ain. Now. Okay, before you read it, number 11 is regarding a very, very important principle which is known as Muru'ah. Muru'ah. Muru'ah translates into English as social decorum. Social decorum. Okay? Now what that basically means is, we're going to come to some definitions, like the definition of Shaykh Islam's grandfather, he gives a definition, and so on. But what he means is that Muru'ah is a person only does those actions which is befitting of him to do, and he stays away from any actions that would lower his status or lower his honor. Okay? So this is not an issue of necessarily halal or haram. I mean, it could go into that as well. Also doing things which are haram, you shouldn't do, it's going to lower your honor. But it's not necessarily halal or haram. It's just doing things that a person saw you, it will take away the respect from you. It will take away your honor from you. In hadith, right, there are 5 conditions for a hadith to be accepted. The first condition is that the narrator has to be adil, he has to be trustworthy. But then the question comes, what makes a person trustworthy? Okay, and the ulama normally mention 5 conditions for that, what makes a person trustworthy. The main of them are 2, I'm just going to mention 1. From them is Muru'ah. From them is Muru'ah. Meaning if a person does not have Muru'ah, they will not accept the hadith. He could be truthful, but he doesn't have this Muru'ah, they will not accept hadith from him. So let me give you some examples of Muru'ah. Right, you have the Imam al-Masjid Nabawi, right? He walks out and he's wearing a t-shirt and jeans to lead Salah. What are you going to think? What's going on? Right? Even in the UK, you got the Imam, imagine your local Imam comes out like that. Even then you're going to be like, thinking about, obviously, other thing on Muru'ah, yes, it does change from time and place. So something could be considered Muru'ah in one country and not in another, or in one century and not in another century. So it could differ. So you have to go back to the urf of the people, especially in those things where there's no clear dalil from the Quran or Sunnah. But now, in Saudi, even wearing a shimagh, if you just come out with your hat, with the topi, right? That's looked down upon. I had a friend of mine, he's got relatives in Makkah, so he lives in Makkah a lot. He keeps going back and forth. And he's hafiz of the Quran. And in the local masjid, the Imam, he got to know the Imam. And the Imam said to him, alright, tomorrow Fajr, you lead it. I'll let you lead Fajr tomorrow. So his brother, he's thinking, in Makkah I get to lead Salah. Like, he's very excited. So he's going over his dars, he's going over it, revising it. Wakes up in the morning, runs out of the house, looking at it on his phone. He's prepared. Guess him, comes into the masjid, the Imam sees him. Where's your shimagh? He said, on the way, I was so focused on my dars, I just forgot it. So he said, you're not leading today, lead tomorrow. I'm on my lead today. He didn't let him lead. Why? Because in that culture, wearing a shimagh is something which is looked down upon. Okay? So having Muru'ah is something which is very, very important. If some of the ulama considered, if they saw somebody standing and eating, not having Muru'ah. Right? Somebody being clean shaved, right? Shaving the beard, or even trimming the beard so it's so small, it's not from Muru'ah. You know it's haram anyway, right? But on top of that, it's not from Muru'ah. So somebody can say it's a person of knowledge, but there should be the signs of the person of knowledge. If he's clean shaved, he doesn't have Muru'ah. Doesn't know how much knowledge he has. Knowledge is not just memorizing. Ibn Mas'ud said, لَيْسَ الْعِلْمُ بِكَثْرَةِ الرِّوَايَةِ وَلَكِنَّ الْعِلْمَ الْخَشْيَةِ. Knowledge is not being able to narrate a lot. Knowledge is having the fear of Allah. So we're talking about ta'dheemil ilm, glorifying knowledge. That can't be done if a person is, not upholding all of these etiquettes. You had the question? Okay. Now,
whoever does not protect knowledge, then knowledge will not protect him. Like Imam Shafi'i said, and whoever ruins his Muru'ah by falling into those that blemishes him.
Blemishes, reduces the status, honor and so on.
That he has belittled knowledge, not glorified it, and has fallen into idleness. This can lead to such the name of knowledge is stripped from him completely. Wahab bin Munabih said, لا يكون البطل من حكماء
بطال من الحكماء.
بطال من الحكماء. The idle one does not become from the wise.
No, idle one, the person's at home doing nothing, right? Wasting time. That's not befitting. If you see somebody, okay, let's just say there's a doctor, right? So let's give an example of a doctor, right? For him to not have muru'ah, for example, the doctor walks in, right? And he starts speaking like a roadman. What's going on? Right? And I've seen people complaining. I've seen people complain saying that I've gone to the doctors now. Obviously, the new generation of doctors are Gen Z. So they're speaking to the doctor, and the doctor's using all these, Gen Z slang. And the person was saying that I didn't feel comfortable that this is the one who's got my health in his hands. Right? So obviously, it takes away from the muru'ah of a person. So here being battal, let's say we take a doctor. Right? You're going to think, mashallah, he's a doctor, he's professional, and so on. And he asks you, how do you spend your day? Oh, just sat on the sofa watching TV the whole day. You'll be like, forget the Islamic side, I'm talking about just normal, as a normal example, yeah? You'll be like, that's not befitting for a person of that stature to just waste his time like that. That will take away from his muru'ah, right? So here, لا يكون البطال من الحكماء. The one who's idle, he can't be from the wise people. That's not befitting to just waste your time. You have free time, go learn something, go read something, right? No. And here you can see the footnotes, the brother, he translated Muru'ah. Muru'ah means a person's honor, integrity and dignity. No.
What defines the affair of Muru'ah is the statement of Ibn Taymiyyah, the grandfather.
Okay. Ibn Taymiyyah, the grandfather. There's two Ibn Taymiyyahs. We have Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah. He's the grandson. His grandfather is also known as Ibn Taymiyyah. His grandfather is a very, very big scholar. Especially in the Hanbali madhab, is very, very big. And he has a book as well, which is known as Muntaqa al-Akhbar. Muntaqa al-Akhbar is, I mentioned Bulugh al-Maram, right? 1400 hadith. Muntaqa al-Akhbar is basically that, but double or triple the size. Okay? So anyways, this statement now that's going to come in the book al-Muharrar is by Shaykh al-Islam, the famous Shaykh al-Islam, or his grandfather? The grandfather. Okay? Now, and then he says, and the Shaykh says, read it.
Isti'mal.
No, before that, grandfather in Muharrar and?
Grandfather in al-Muharrar, and likewise his grandson.
And likewise the grandson. So who said it first? The grandfather said it first, and the grandson followed in the same footsteps now.
And likewise his grandson followed suit in some of his grandfather's verdicts.
Now, so what does he say? So he gives a definition of Muru'ah. He says, استعمال ما يجمله ويزينه وتجنب ما يدنسه ويشينه.
Using that which adorns and beautifies him and staying away from those things that tarnish and blemish.
So doing things which only beautify you, make you better, raise your status, and staying away from things which tarnishes you and blemishes you. So for example, even leading salah, I'll give an example of Saudi, like the way they dress, but even wearing a normal hat, right? Sometimes you see like the person leaves the hat, so the elders might say, go wear a hat, right? That's not completely incorrect. It's not befitting for a person of knowledge. Now you find some of the young du'at will go out with a hat. It's not, generally you'll find even some books is written that a student of knowledge should be wearing a hat. It could be argued, you have to be fair, that in the UK, the urf is slightly different, so maybe somebody could get away with it. But without that, generally, if you go out throughout the Islamic countries and throughout what's written in Islamic literature, they do generally due to the fact that a person should cover his head. Okay? Now it's got nothing to do with the acceptance of salah or not, but again it's from adab. No. Obviously, there are some masajid which go a bit too extreme. Like if you're not got a hat, they'll go and grab a hat and whack it on your head whilst you're praying. Like you don't need to go to that level, but no.
Using that which adorns and beautifies. It was said to Abu Muhammad Sufyan bin Uyayna, you have extrapolated everything from the Quran. So where is Muru'ah in it? So he said in his statement, خُذِ الْعَفْوَ وَأْمُرْ بِالْعُرْفِ وَأَعْرِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ. Show forgiveness, enjoy what is good, and turn away from the foolishness, i.e. don't punish them. He said, in it is Muru'ah, good etiquette and lofty manners.
No, that's a delete for it. No.
From the most important etiquettes for a student upon himself is that he adorns himself with Muru'ah and that which leads to it, and that he stays far away from those things that tarnishes it, like shaving his beard or looking around plentifully in the street or spreading his feet whilst in a gathering of people without a need or nor for good reason, or accompanying the lowly, the oppressively sinful, the shameless and the idle one, or competing with the young and small.
No, so Shaykh gives a number of examples. He says, shaving the beard. On top of the fact that it's haram, it takes away from a person's muru'ah. Looking around plentifully in the street. When you're walking, a Muslim is a person who walks with waqar, with sakina, with dignity, not like this. Look straight and that's it. Right? Spreading his feet whilst he's in a gathering of people. Right, just putting your feet out there. Obviously, if you're with the boys, you're with your friends, then you can do stuff which you don't do normally. But like in the masjid and so on, you shouldn't be doing that without a reason. Like I said, yes, if there's a reason, then it's fine. Your legs are actually hurting, you got a problem, you sprain your leg, whatever the case may be, right, you put it up. Unless it's temporary, like it's hurting, after a minute it's fine, so you can put it back in. But the also is that it's not from respect. Accompanying the lowly. You're always with people who are druggies, or people who are this, or people who are wasting the time, or people who are foolish, whatever the case may be. That's not the people you should be hanging around with. The oppressively sinful, people who are always sinning. The shameless, or the idle one. Or competing with the young and small, like you're 50 years old but you're always chilling with like teenagers. It's not befitting. No. Obviously, like I said, if there's a reason behind it, if your intention behind it is giving them da'wah, right, or giving them advice on how to seek knowledge, no problem, right? But we're talking about the default ruling. No.